Hello, everybody. My name is Jodie Jordan. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and you can find me on social media as the Blue-Eyed Crafter. Today is April 27, 2023. I have 3 very cute projects for you today, and a couple of them were requested by some people on my team. We had a block party last week, I think, and this is what I made to take to the block party for the kids, or I mean, it was for everybody really, but yeah. So I've wanted to do this scrapbook page forever. As soon as I seen this paper, I knew I wanted to do it. Sadly, this paper is going away, but I can tell you that we are getting a new one that it still could go for a camping theme. It's got to do with fishing and it's very cute. It's a cute bundle. I know sometimes when it comes to making cards or scrapbook pages, sometimes it's hard to make the more masculine stuff for like men or whatever. But this this scrapbook page really reminds me of when my kids were young. My husband and I took a trip to St. Louis to Yogi Bear Park, or we stayed at like a campground. And normally we would just stay in a hotel, but I wanted to do something different. And boy, did we. I had no idea that those cabins were so uncomfortable. Like there was nothing fancy or resorty about it. I mean, the activities for the kids were awesome, but to sleep on those beds, and that was when I was young. I had a good back then, but it was awful. I was definitely ready to go from staying there, but it was an experience for the kids, and they had a good time. We ended up, I think, going to the zoo, Six Flags, and yeah, that was back when I used to live in Indiana. I've been in Florida now for almost 20 years, so I'm just sponging around these edges just to give it a little bit more definition and make it pop out a little bit more. This is a really easy scrapbook page. It's there is a part in here where I didn't have a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and I'll tell you about it here in a minute when it comes up because you'll see. But I didn't have a 12 by 12 piece of paper, and honestly, if I did, I don't know that I would waste a big piece of 12 by 12 paper for this for the little ring. I'll show you in just a minute. It's coming up. But I ended up just taping or using an 8.5 by 11, and then putting another piece and backing it up on my computer or on my mat, and just making it out of two 8.5 by 11s, and then using the scrap pieces for stuff like these trees and stuff, because it it looks nice trimmed out, but it at the same time I didn't want to leave it off. I felt like it needed to be there, but I didn't want to waste a whole 12 by 12 sheet of paper. Honestly, I didn't have that color in a 12 by 12, so um, I had to, use what I had. So that's what I did. Sometimes I can manipulate the files and make it do what I want, but because this was larger than a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, I had to basically splice it together. So here you'll see, I'm going to pick it up, and that green piece, it's just spliced. So I'm just going to tape it down with just some masking tape, or what, office tape, whatever you call that tape. Just kind of cut off the edges. I mean, honestly, I don't think you can really tell because it's just a little trim piece that's going to fit behind. And here, it's hard to line up because the actual circle doesn't go from top to bottom. Like it's hard to mark where it is. So I'm just marking it, or kind of like winging it, or eyeballing it, getting it into place, and then I'm just going to glue this to the green part, and then I'll end up putting the whole thing together and gluing it down. I love this paper, especially the background page. I love that. The little campers and the tents. It's so cute. See, you really can tell that I spliced it together. It's not that big of a deal. And honestly, what I should have done is moved it over more and I could have actually hid it or put my trees right where it was. I might even do that. I don't know. Maybe that's why I don't notice it. Because after I glued it, I forgot all about it. I'm just popping this up with some dimensionals that I had left on the sides because these pieces are pretty big. So um, I sped up the video like double time. So now when I do the crafting or when I'm doing my crafting, and the reason why I choose to do the voiceover is because sometimes I'm actually creating as I'm making the video. Now these items I had made before except for the scrapbook page. The other things I've made a whole bunch of them for the block party, so it didn't take me that long to make those, but because I'd made them before. Like this, I'm just kind of designing as I go because even though it's a kit or it's already pre-made how the elements go down, you still have to decide what colors and what this, because like this green didn't necessarily go with the color scheme of the paper, but I wanted it to have grass and trees, so I added in the green. And here I kind of sponged around the yellow instead of using um the yellow color. I'm using orange because it makes it look more like fire. I mean, that's totally optional. All the sponging is completely optional. You don't have to do that, but it's just something that I feel like makes it look extra cute. And I'm just layering up the pieces here. The most tedious part of this whole page is the happy campers. Those are really super small, but it really wasn't hard to line up or anything. It's just you got to get the tweezers out to put them down. Here I want to give the logs, I guess, some extra dimension. So I'm just inking my embossing folder, and that's gonna not only give it texture, but it'll also make it two different colors, so to make it look cool. You're gonna see that I bring this embossing machine out a couple times, but and normally if I was, making a project or whatever, I would just do all the embossing at the same time so I don't have to keep moving that thing around. If you own one of those, you know how heavy they are. They're so heavy to move. And I put mine up in a shelf because I don't have room for it at my desk. And here I'm just getting that ink off. I'm using a baby wipe first just to get the majority of the ink off. And then I'm going to come in with the Stampin' or the little chamois thing, and it gets the rest of it pretty much off good, very well. But I didn't want to put all that extra ink on the stamp or on the chamois because the chamois it looks so bad, but it really doesn't get any ink on your hands or anything. It's just I don't know how it holds all that. Even when I go in and add water to it, it never squeezes out with any color. So I don't know where all that ink goes. So here I'm like thinking that this would look nice with some texture. So I grab the embossing machine again and get it out. I spent all day today or all day yesterday trying to find my pictures for I thought the pictures from that trip would be cute to scrapbook. And I looked and looked and looked and I found 3 photos. One was of well, 4 photos. Two of them were my daughter with the Yogi Bear. One was a picture of both the kids like standing behind this, how they have those cardboard cutouts or whatever. And then the other one was a picture of me and my husband behind the cardboard cutout. But I'm assuming my son took the picture, and mind you, he was probably, let's see, Denise was probably 4 or 5. So he might have been 6 or 7 years old. And this is back before we had phones. Like this is when you actually had to take it in and have it developed. So you never knew what you were going to get. The picture of me and my husband is barely in the screen. But the photos go the wrong way. They won't fit in there. They won't fit in the layout. But I'll probably figure out a way to make them work. That's one thing with this kit. There's basically you cut out the piece. I'm not showing it on here, but you cut out the piece and then you lay it down and it's going to cut out you'll see the three things where you put your pictures and they're shaped. So you can get your photos to be that shape. You will then slide your picture underneath and take the middle part out, and then it'll make your picture be the same shape as you'll see it on here at the end of the white sheet. I just put little white cards on there for where the photos go, but there I haven't picked any pictures yet because I thought, the ones that I was going to use won't work, but I might be able to use some kind of Photoshop or something, or even go on Canva and maybe make a background and make it work to where I can cut out some of it and make it that shape. Because the pictures are like portrait, and the ones for here are the landscape. So see, this is the most tedious part right here. It's getting all these little letters and they're so teeny tiny. So this glue that I'm using, it's by Scotch. It's a quick dry glue. I usually use it whenever I do 3D projects or if I need something to glue quickly, or I know my fingers are going to be in it, because it I don't have to worry about it sticking as bad. The little tip on the end, I get those from Amazon, and it just makes the glue come out like in a thinner, like it doesn't come out in a big blob. It just comes out in a nice, even line, I guess. Yeah, you do have to keep putting that little pin in there or it'll get clogged up, and every once in a while you have to clean it out. I wish it would come with like a little brush or something that I could clean the glue out each time. Sometimes I'll put it in fingernail polish remover and soak it because it gets that clogged up sometimes. I have like 4 or 5 of them I have laying around. Both sides of this paper is so cute. I was gonna hoard it because it's like paper like this is sometimes it's hard to find, but I don't have room for any more paper at all in my room. Like I knew the new catalog was coming and I'm ordering all that stuff and I just don't have room. So here's the little white pieces that I'm talking about. So this is the centers of, like, when you cut this out, it would be in a perfect square, and those are the centers, and that's where you would put your pictures in. Mary has a video on it, I believe. So these are actually would be your photos that you would put here. If I knew in advance, I could have set the page up a little bit different, and but That's okay. I'll find something to fit, or I'll make them fit. I think this is so cute. Inside the kit, it came with these little. They're not stickers because they don't stick, but they're like die cuts, I guess. But they're printed die cuts. And I think there was one in there that was like a grill with fire. I thought about just using that, but then I was like, nah, I like the layers of this, so I went ahead and just used the paper and didn't use the elements from the paper. Here I should have probably put the trees down first, but I just pull up one of the dimensionals and slide it right in. So you can see how skinny the glue goes on. And it dries really quick, so I usually buy that glue in bulk at Michael's when they have it. Like they have them, I don't know what it's called, like a bulk sale or whatever they have. I have so many different ones. I have a whole drawer full of the green bottle glue too, Tombow. Now here I'm just pulling stuff out of my stash. These buttons I've probably had for 10 years. But that's what crafters do. We hoard stuff. I'm trying to not be as bad. So that wraps up the first project. Super cute. I love it. Here I was thinking this is one of the elements in the kit, and I was thinking maybe I could journal or something, but I didn't. So here's the finished page. And here's a couple photos of my kids. They're grown adults now. My daughter's about to be married. She's getting married in October, and my son is 28. Time goes by so quick. Okay, so the next project was requested by some people on my team. These are what I made for the block party. You may have already seen pictures on the internet because I posted pictures of them and I didn't do a video. I just was making these for the thing, and I thought I would share with my team, and everybody was telling me that I should make a video. Um, Now Mary, she on the person that you buy the files from, she usually does a video for each one to show you how to assemble it, unless it's something super simple like a card or something like that. She doesn't, but for anything that's 3D like this, she does. But um, she uses her own whatever paper she buys, or whatever. So she encourages you to post to her site and show uh, what the projects look like. So I sent her over a picture. So sometimes the tip of that thing gets kind of hard, like stuck with glue, but this looks so intimidating, but it's really easy. It's not even that bad. The only thing about this is, so right here, when you got to slide, kind of get it at an angle and slide it over into the next one. And it doesn't always line up with that ring. Like sometimes it doesn't always line up real well, but it doesn't matter because all this is going to be covered up. So it doesn't matter how messy or messed up it is, trust me. Now, on the original file, Mary only gave us one of these circles, and I ended up manipulating the file to where I could make two. because she says to do this and then hot glue it down to the box on the other side, but I couldn't get it to like it's just first of all, my hot glue gun is like it's like an industrial type one my husband bought me for Christmas, and it gets super hot. It's not really made for paper crafting. It's made for woodworking. In fact, I think in the video I burned myself. I don't know if I edited it out or not, but um so I did it on both sides just so I had that control too, because if you're trying to put that other side that's kind of like loose like this, it's very hard, especially with hot glue. You don't have but just a few seconds to get it stuck, or and it really did great having the two rings. So if you're a Cricut user on a regular basis, you probably know how to do this. If not, maybe I'll do a tutorial on that later, how to kind of manipulate their files. You really shouldn't have to do much more than duplicate it, but they group everything together and they don't allow you to ungroup it. So it that's the one thing I don't like about the files when you buy them sometimes, because sometimes your Cricut will mess up and you only need one piece. And 12 by 12 paper, is golden to me. Like to lose one sheet because the Cricut messed up and then have to use another one, and you only need one little section, you know. But I usually figure out a way to do it if I really, if it's something I need to do. But sometimes I spend too much time on it and I don't like to do that when it could just be easy. But I don't create the files. I wish I knew how. I couldn't even imagine what it took to come up with the brain power to do this. Like, it's so cute. It was definitely a big hit at the party. I decorated my table. I got a little tablecloth and made it look real woodsy. I really wanted to do like a banner and make it, like Camp Smore or whatever, but I just didn't have time, because by the time I had to, we're still moving in our house. Even though we've been here for a little bit, we're still painting. Our house is brand new built. So we have so much going on around here. Contractors coming in, fixing things, and, you know, so I just didn't have time. But I still, when I came up, my husband and I, we just went like two houses down where the majority of the party was, and my or my husband and I just carried it with everything all decorated on the table or already set up. And when we came in, everybody said, "Will you get the best in show for your table?" At my last house, my neighbor told me that. He said, "Well, you are a good neighbor, but I'm glad you're leaving, because now I can be the best house for Halloween, because all the kids love coming to my house for Halloween, because I always make really cute, over the top treat boxes and things." So these are just little panels, and these panels just hide the ugliness of the uh, score marks or whatever. You just put glue at the top and glue at the bottom and just let it kind of do that little fold over shape, and it doesn't matter. I think it's just really kind of brilliant how it works. It looks nice. It covers up all the stitching or the cut lines, but makes it look nice. I think in this video, I didn't realize it until I was already almost done that I had left one panel off. I see my glue gun's back there melting. I'm about to put my hand in it. It's dribbling down. That thing looks like I don't know, I think it's like for cabinets, or I don't know what you would use for glue for wood, but I think it's a woodworking one. But I really love it because it runs on a battery, but I don't have to worry about a cord. it's really just it just takes time to do this. It's really easy. It's not hard. It's just it really takes time to do it, and you gotta, you know, have patience sometimes, but for the most part, it's not that bad to put together. And I'm not sure how I missed it, but I can see it now. But when I was doing it, it was right in front of me and I didn't even notice it. So here I'm just going around with early espresso ink and just kind of giving it a little sponge to give it that toast look, like the s'more was melted or burnt. I like mine burnt. So this is the lid to your box. So simple. It's just basic little, you know, little box. Like you could almost do this on your scoreboard, except for she has like little, like the chocolate. This is the chocolate layer of the s'more. So she has it like dripping on the side. But it's really, it goes together just like a normal, like if you was making a treat box with a lid on your scoreboard. So cute. This is the bottom. Now this one I've never seen her do before. It kind of like the corners interlock, which is kind of cool because it kind of like does this, gives it a shape. But it took me obviously I know how to do it, but I'm saying like when I first was trying to figure it out, it kind of I couldn't really figure out what I was doing, but it it turned out really good. And it's not even hard. Like I said, I thought, at first I just didn't know what it did or why it, was made like that. Because normally there's just one tab on the side, but it's kind of cool how she does that because it's like the top of the box is skinnier, so the lid will slide right on and it locks in there. The box locks on. So I said, I don't know how she, figures out how to make this, but I know she has like a design team and stuff. So there's that, and you just put your lid on. This is the top. The graham cracker. I didn't have the score line folded, so it came loose there. Now, when you make these 3D projects, I mean, I know I sell Stampin' Up! Products, but I've been making this stuff for a long time, and I'm telling you that the stuff they sell at Michael's is not good quality. Like, um, even though I know this is going to be thrown away, but Stampin' Up's paper is like, when I put it in my Cricut, it's like 80 pound. I cut it on 80 pound, and sometimes I have to tell it to do a little bit more, like it's thicker. It's so much better than that stuff that they sell at like Michael's or, you know, Joann's or any of those places. It's just a lot stronger and it just looks better. And everything matches. The inks match, the paper matches, the embellishments match, the ribbons match. So, nothing's worse than having something one color and then it's you go to put a ribbon on and it's like 3 shades different. I mean, I'm picky like that, but so I'm just gluing on the lid, just kind of holding it. I'm so glad I could turn that glue gun off. And I'm just kind of sponging this up and giving it a little toasted look. And then I'm going to run this through I think it's type worn something embossing folder. And I'm just kind of sponging around the edges a little bit, give it a little bit more toasty look. I don't think I bring the embossing machine out. I think I just run it through my electric one because I have an electric one too. Looks like my computer's or my camera's trying to, yeah, so I just ran it through my electrical and I'm pretty sure. So then I'm just taking it and kind of sponging it a little bit more, giving it more like where the texture will pick up the ink. And now I'm just going to apply dimensionals to give it a little dimension. I mean, honestly, I could have just glued it right down to the box, but I thought it was super cute this way. And then you just line up the holes, which now I'm going to notice that some of them weren't all the way poked through, I think. So originally I was going to buy these like healthy version of s'mores to go in here because I actually make the stuff or bought the stuff to make s'mores. So I went to the store to pick them up because I looked online, what can I get, to have a healthy snack? Because these days everybody's on some kind of weird diet. I mean, literally everybody's on something. So I don't have any more early espresso ribbon, and I didn't want to buy any more because it's retiring. So I'm just demonstrating to you guys the bow. I did a lot better about bows than I'm showing you, but I'm just showing you what I did. And I also made a tag on my Cricut that said brownie s'mores or something. What I ended up doing was buying and making these brownies in a box. But that's the finished s'more box. And that was my display table for the block party. So this next one is a really simple box. It's just decorated with the exact same elements that were in the scrapbook page as far as the fire and all that. There is like a little banner piece that says, I think it says Camp S'more. So you do have a few of those smaller letters to pop on, but the box is just real basic. I mean, you can make one of these on your scoreboard as well if you know the measurements. I don't know. It did take two pieces at 8.5 by 11 for me, and I had to make two sections, like the front and the back of the box. But you could totally probably make this without, if you didn't have a Cricut machine. Here, I'm just wiping this up again. I don't know why I do this, but I just like the look of it. It's so messy to do it, but here I'm just using some more of that paper from, I think it was called He's the Man. And I'm just giving it a little dimension by going around with the ink. Here I'm just doing the same thing to the fire. Just giving it some dimension and some color. So I'm going to try and start posting on Mondays and Thursdays. My next projects, I'm going to try and get something together for Cinco de Mayo. I think Cinco de Mayo is the 5th. So I want to try and post Monday for Cinco de Mayo, but it might not be till Thursday, which Cinco de Mayo is Friday. So if you guys wanted to make a project, that would be, you wouldn't be able to do that. But it'll either be Monday or Friday. But I'm going to post on both those days a video. So I just don't know exactly what I'm doing yet, and I'm not sure of the time. Like I'm pushing myself to actually do those. So start posting every week, twice a week. So Gary start doing Cinco de Mayo and then graduation. I know graduation is coming up. My nephew is getting ready to graduate, and so I'm gonna make him some cute stuff. So yeah, and here's just that tedious, like, here I put the glue on the wrong side. I'm trying to do it quick because I wanted to get this video up in time. To meet my goal. No, Mary did it a little bit different. She put this on the side of the box, but my husband and I went back and forth about it. I was like, if I put it on the side of the box, no one will see it. I was like, if I put it on the top of the box, the way I was displaying them. So I went with the top of the box, but you can do what you want to do. Also, another tip that I'll tell you is the stick that holds the s'mores. I ended up cutting extras of those and stacking them three high and making it like cardboard almost because they're super flimsy. And you glue it on the side of the box, so if it's going to get bumped around or anything, it wouldn't have been that easy. I mean, in the end, this is just going in the garbage, but it's just, I guess, a pride thing for me. I like to do a good job and make it nice. Here I'm just putting on the panels. I wanted to tell everybody that if you shop with me, my main hub is my Facebook page. Every month I post a host code. It's the very first post on my page, and if you place an order with me and use that host code it has to be $50 to $149. If you place it with me, then I'll send you a free gift. Now, if you place an order higher than $150, and this is before tax and shipping, then you will earn Stampin' rewards, and I think it's 12%. I can't remember. I think it's a certain percent for however much you spend. It depends on how much you spend. There's different levels, but you would get your own rewards, and that would be when you're checking out. It'll tell you to pick more stuff out from the store. But I really would appreciate anyone's business. If you don't already have a demonstrator, I would be happy to help you. So here I'm just getting ready to stick all the decorations on. Now I used the tape runner because it's super sticky, and it just does better to me on acetate. And here I just do the one little marshmallow that's going to be on the window sheet, and then I use glue on the paper. And that's just because it sticks better. The sticky like tape sticks better to the window than glue. And then, like I said, here I put it on the top because the way I was displaying them, but the way Mary did it, she put it on the side, and I think she added like a little button or something. And then I'm just getting some little gems to go on top. These weren't the ones that I used. The ones that I used, I don't even know what they were called. They were like a gift that I got from my team lead. They were in like a pack of leaves or something. They were kind of bright orange. So I do craft fairs every year, and I have a like a heat sealer. So here I just put 4 marshmallows. I put a whole chocolate bar, and then I think it was, let's see, three graham crackers, and sealed it in there. So there's the project. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on Monday. Bye. Oh, here's the picture of our block party for the first 45 residents in the neighborhood.